Yo guys, what is up? Banshee2X here, and welcome to 949 Sim Racing League Round 2 at Misano. This is my first league on, I said of course, a Competizione, coming from Apex Online Racing on F1. I actually just won the championship in my split in that league, my second full season, so really excited about that, and decided that I wanted to move into more sim-like games, move away from arcadey stuff, and really enjoying ACC right now. I would definitely recommend it to anybody who's like looking to pick up a decent sim as like an alternative to iRacing or something, if you don't want to invest all that money into iRacing. But anyway, here we go, starting qualifying. Qualifying rules here are interesting because we're broken up into four splits: pro, gold, silver, and bronze. I am in the silver split. And silver and bronze are only allowed to qualify in the last 10 minutes of the qualifying session. It's a 20-minute session, so that means the pro and gold get to go out first for the first 10 minutes of the session. But anyway, here we're going to skip ahead to my banker lap. Go ahead and cross the start-finish stripe here, going down into turn one. I do not know these corner names on this track. I'm sorry for that. I'm not familiar with Misano at all. I did put a lot of time into practice for this race, but corner names elude me, so maybe I'll try to memorize that in the future for future races here and future videos that I make if I race at this track. But we run a little wide there into the turn 3 and 4. Cut the curb on turn 5, run just a little bit on the curbing in turn 6. That's about the right line you want to take. The run down here in this long straight down into turn 8, brake at the 100-meter board. Go down to first gear. Usually you want to cut that curb a little bit. I missed it just ever so slightly. Now running down here into turn 9 and 10. You want to cut across the curbs here a little bit. Straighten the car as much as you can. Run into that green curbing there. Full throttle. And now we have this long straightaway with two fast right-handers. The first one here, cut across the curbing just a little bit. Run wide onto the curbing on the outside. And then right here, once you get about where the curbing ends on the inside, you want to brake, down, shift to third gear. Then at that white stripe there, downshift again to first for this hairpin corner. Run a little bit wide in the curbing there, down to third. Cut the curbs a little bit on that last penultimate corner, then come here across the final corner, cut the curbing a little bit down the second, third, run a little wide on the curbing. And what's our time? First lap time going to be a 1:34.6. That's not bad. That's a good base lap. Have a sip of some coffee here. A little bit of fruity pebble creamer in there. It's not bad. Wouldn't recommend it though. Tastes like straight chemicals. But here we go. Our second qualifying lap, we go 5/10s faster with 34.1, puts us P19. I believe that's P3 overall in silver. Fast forward again to my final qualifying lap, and we end up doing a 33.9. That's good enough for pole for my split in silver, so that's P16 overall. I was very happy and excited for that. I've been struggling to get into the 33s all week practicing for this event. I was super excited. So that was a big moment for me. But anyway, here we go. We're on the grid. About 10 seconds to go. I am in Discord with my teammates Ryan and Colehawks, or Kyle. We are together Karimba Bimba Racing, as you can see on the screen over my webcam overlay, because I do stream these on Twitch. And here we go, rolling off the grid. P16 on the outside, which is actually the best place to be here. Going into that turn 1. Less chance of getting taken out. But here we go. You gotta get up to a maximum of 70 kph here. And as Ryan states, it's go, go, go. And we actually get a good start here. The Aston Martin is usually pretty sluggish, but here we go. 3 wide into turn 1. Very dangerous, but we get the place down the inside of this McLaren. We run it side by side through turn 3, going down into turn 4. I brake a little bit because it looks like he's going to cut across the track, but he gives me the outside anyway. So we run on the outside into turn 4, and again into turn 5, and then going into turn 6. He squeezes me a little bit, but I stay with it. Now, the Aston is not very fast in a straight line, so you're going to see McLaren pull away, and I have Chris McNichol on my outside here in the Lamborghini, much faster. He's a very, very good driver, but we almost go into the back of the McLaren there, so I had to slow up a lot. We get the place from Chris, and we hold him off. Running down here into turns 9 and 10. Go a little bit wide, not quite hitting the apex there. Get a little squiggle running down the straight now. You can just see the front 13 guys just pull away from me just because of a bad exit and just not having any straight line speed in this Aston Martin. We here see Chris looking down the inside. Doesn't really go for it. I kind of cover him off. I don't really have a reason to cover him off, but I want to put as much between me and, as you can see there, we hit the bumps on the inside, and it completely disrupts our momentum. We lose 2 places, but it does not matter because this is for overall. This is not for class. But as you can see, the P2 silver driver, Brandon Walker, is right behind on my left door. He gives up the move. He can't get it done. We go defensive into turn 2. Kyle Friesen is all over the back of me. He wants to get around. He is a pro or gold class racer. He does not want to be battling me right now, but I want to keep him behind because he has Walker behind him. So I want to keep this gap between me and Walker. Walker is much faster than I am. He's a fantastic driver. He was in bronze last year in 949, I believe. And he's gradually working his way up, but he's shown a significant improvement from what I have heard from other drivers in the league who are veterans. But as you can see here, Friesen goes to the outside going into 9 and 10. He gives it up, though, and decides to take a different line, try and get the switch back in a sense, but he can't get it done. He doesn't have the momentum, so I get to keep my position going down the straightaway. He's right on my door, or I'm sorry, bumper. I haven't had enough coffee yet this morning. We go down into the hard braking zone, down to 3rd gear, brake at the 100 meter, down into 1st, cut the curbs a little bit, perfect corner. As you can see, we pull away from the Lamborghini. The Aston is so good in the corners. Coming up to the final corner, down to 2nd, perfect apex right there. Run a little bit wide on the curbs. We make it up through the gears, and you can see we're absolutely pulling away from the Lamborghini there. I was on a much different strategy than other people in this race. I was running extremely high fuel compared to everyone else running at least an hour into this hour-and-a-half race. And for that, I was much heavier, much slower, but I was able to make do. And for some reason, my tire pressures weren't exactly where they needed to be. I'm not entirely sure why. The temperatures on the track were right where they should have been for the correct pressures, but I guess my tires were just a little bit colder than they should have been. But I was able to correct this later on, and as you'll see, and I'll leave that for that moment. All right, as we fast forward here a little bit, I run wide going into turns 4 and 5, and I've got Friesen and Walker all over my back bumper, and you can see Friesen just goes for it here. He gets the great exit, and he's just going for it, and Walker's going to follow him through. There's really nothing I can do here. I go wide on the outside of the corner. There's nothing I can do. I can't cut back in. I don't have the space. Walker goes out on my outside, and he's going to hold it through here. He gets a little bit of a better braking point. I'm able to close back in here, but I run a little wide, and this Bentley behind me is going to really charge. He's going to go down my inside. I chose not to go to defensive here because this is a long race, but I end up going wide here, not really turning in. Just didn't want to make any crucial mistakes, take anybody out. Go on the outside of the braking zone. Still not much I can do here. I can't cut in. I just have to let these guys go. There's a big gap to cars behind, about a second. There's no sense of me you know, fighting this battle this heavily. So we just fall back from, I believe, P16 to P21. And this is where we're going to sit for a while here in P21 as we fight our way through try to fight our way back up through the field and just run our strategy as cleanly as we can and make it work for us. Alright, fast forwarding here. We're about just shy of an hour in, and I decided to box this lap because I'm starting to lose a lot of lap time. The tires are very worn. They're still not at the right temperatures they need to be, so I box here. I accidentally clipped the wall here and add 6 seconds of damage, but it ended up not affecting my pace at all during the race, which I was very surprised about. So here we go, in for our box, adding 54 liters of fuel. Bit of an overfuel, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. We up the tire pressures a little bit to try and help compensate for the colder track temps. A near perfect box here. We're going to be stationary for about 30 seconds while we add fuel and tires. It doesn't matter how little fuel you put in the car. If I didn't take tires, the pit stop is a mandatory 25 seconds.
None. I pressed tab. No one in my tab region is red.
And 3, 2, and 1. Fire the car back up, and we are out. It's very convenient to have the pit box right at the end of the pit lane. It's a long, slow pit lane here at Misano.
Also, I'm just gonna say you recreated me at
But we're coming up to the end here, and it looks like we're gonna be ahead of Mike Jackson. Mike is a fantastic driver. He is. We did a practice race here earlier in the week, and me and him were slugging it out. He's a fantastic driver. I have nothing but nice things to say about him. I do not believe he has a YouTube or a Twitch or anything, but his son, Sakame, he is also in this league. He's in the pro class. He's actually he's podiumed the first race of the season. I will link his Twitch and his YouTube down below. He's a fantastic person, very nice, very kind, very generous, very helpful. Nothing but nice things to say about him. So make sure you go give him a follow, go give him a sub on YouTube. He's a great content creator as well. But we come out ahead of Mike Jackson here, going down the straightaway. I was a little nervous here, I'm going to be honest, because of the battles we had earlier in the week, Mike and myself. And I knew that I had to get up through the field and just separate myself from him and get away from this, because I didn't have time to battle, because this is for the final podium position in the silver class, and I did not want to be fighting him. I wanted to make a gap and secure this podium and maybe even claim P2, because the P2 driver, he was in a Bentley as well. I'm just waiting for him. Chaube there. He was not very quick in this second stint, and I pit much later than everybody else by at least 3 or 4 laps. So my tires were much fresher, running on relatively the same fuel. And when all things click in this Aston Martin, it is extremely fast, and it's hard to beat, especially at a track like Misano with a lot of curbs, because this Aston Martin is very, very good on curbs and bumps. But as you can see, we're starting to pull the gap out here a little bit to Mike. About a second now. Trying to nail all these corners and just keep breaking the gap here, making it much larger and trying to catch the guys in front. Where I'm going to lose time to Mike here is on the straights, because that Lexus is super quick on the straights. Has a much, much better engine in it than this AMR due to the BOP. But we're holding about a second to Mike, which is nice. Doesn't allow too much pressure on myself. Just keep hitting these apexes and exits.
That's how I've been this entire race.
We run a little bit wide there. Just tap one of the anti-cut strips. Doesn't disrupt us too bad. 35-2 across the line. That's not bad on our outlap. Cut a little bit further here. About 26 minutes to go. Still have about a second gap to Mike. Coming up on lap traffic here, actually. This is a bronze class driver, Yads. Don't know too much about him. Don't know too much about the entire bronze field, to be honest. One of my teammates in there, Cole Hawks, he's in there. I believe he was racing for a podium spot. He was P2, I believe. He has a YouTube channel of his own, which I will put a link down in the description if you want to check out his channel. But this league, lap traffic is not obligated to listen to the blue flags. They do not have to let you by in the corners or anything. It is obviously it's a very nice thing to do to let the leaders by, but again they can't. The stewarding team is only so big; they cannot enforce it. So they have decided that the driver who must overtake the lap traffic must do the job himself. So as you can see there, we get held up a little bit, allows Mike to catch up quite a bit. And for some reason, Yads decides to race us down into the next corner, even though he went wide and let me by. Not really sure what he was trying to do there. Kind of disrupted me a little bit, but we end up getting the move done anyway. And now the gap to Mike is very, very close. He was able to make up a lot of time there. And now he's right on our bumper. Basically, we are starting from square one again. I might as well have just come back out of the pits, and Mike is now on my bumper, and I need to hit my marks, break this gap wide open, and just get away from him and focus on catching Silver P2 of... I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name again. Chow Bei. There we go. Alright guys, fast forwarding. Here we go. 11 minutes remaining, and we have closed the gap to Chow Bei in P2 Silver Class. Within a second now, he's really struggling on his tires. Not sure how long his second stint has been, but we are so much quicker. Going down here into the final corner, we're going to get an excellent run here. He runs a little bit wide, almost clips the grass there. Going across the start-finish line, we're almost a second faster than him that lap. He cuts the corner a lot, gets a little unsettled. We dive down into turn 2. We get the move done. That's P2 in silver, and we're never going to look back here. P20 overall. At this point, I'm trying to stay calm, trying to stay focused. I was super ecstatic with the move. We have our 3 track limit warnings. One more, I receive a penalty, and I was extremely focused on making sure I didn't cut anymore in this race. I did not want a penalty. I wanted to secure this podium. There was no chance of me winning Silver Class. Walker he was on fire this race. I think he ended up finishing P6 overall. That's like he basically cut the gold and pro field in half as a silver driver, which is incredibly amazing. He's a fantastic driver. But here we're trying to get around Rees of lap traffic. He decides to let me go here into the hairpin. Very appreciative of him doing that for us. Letting me build the gap to Chow Bei and Mike Jackson. Gonna go around the final corner here and across the stripe with about 9 minutes left to go. Fast forward here, we got 30 seconds left. My teammate Ryan on the inside, he was struggling. His tire temps were super cold. Lets me go around the outside of him. Now we're up to P19 overall. Basically, the overall positions I'm gaining now is just for pride. I would say. But Ryan was struggling in his second stint. His tire pressures were way too low. He was really battling it out. But as you can see, it's the white flag now. Last lap. for the leaders. And as you can see here, Ryan absolutely dies in my mirror. He hits the brakes, the Porsche snaps around, and he goes for a wicked slide. It was quite funny moment at the time, I have to admit. But he actually did not end up crashing out of the race. He was able to finish. But here we go, coming across the final corner, crossing the line to start our final lap. As you can see, P1 was right behind me, so we're not going to finish a lap down, luckily. Run a little wide there into turn 1, into turn 2. We're going to stay on board here for this whole final lap, because it gets pretty crazy towards the end. Danny Biasden Carbon, another fantastic streamer and content creator, battling Chris McNichol for P15 right now, or I'm sorry, P16 right now. Both are fantastic drivers. As we run down the straight here, down into the heavy braking zone of this awkward left-hander. A little wide. And then all of a sudden, Chris and Danny, both in the gravel, they came together, which allows me to take P16. But then Chris gets a humongous run coming back onto the track. I don't know how he was able to carry so much speed out of the sand or gravel. And he just completely flies away. But I end up actually claiming that position from him because he gets a penalty for the incident with Danny Biasden. So down into the hairpin, heavy braking zone. On the run up to the penultimate corner. Just taking a nice, careful line. Don't want a track cut here at the last lap. Don't want a penalty. Around the final corner. I'm very ecstatic at this point. My first podium in a new league, in a new game for me. Absolutely incredible drive. I was so happy with this result. I'm looking forward to the next race in Imola. And see Brandon Walker is right there. Give him a little bit of a cheeky headlight flash as a congratulations. But guys, this is it. This has been round 2 of the 949 Sim Racing League at Misano. Thank you for watching, and tune in next time. Round 3 at Imola. Let's go!